So yesterday, we asked a very important question about the connection between a clock, a ruler, a scale, a cup measurement, and money. Hopefully some of you got the answer. And we're going to explain the importance and the connection between all three of these things now. So starting with this, we have time. Allah mentions in the Quran, وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. So verily, Allah swears by time itself. وَالْعَصْرِ. Verily mankind is in a state of khusr. Khusr, all of mankind is in a state of khusran, which is the opposite of ribh. If I go to a market and I spent £20 on produce and I sold it for £19, I am in khusran, I made a loss. Whereas if I purchased it for £20 and I sold it for £25, I'm now in ribh, profit of £5. So ribh is the opposite of khusran. Allah saying all of mankind is in a state of, you could almost say, financial loss. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, except those who believe, وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, and do righteous deeds, وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ, and they advise one another upon truth, righteousness, وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, and they advise one another and encourage one another upon sabr, patience. Then we have, for example, here you have a scale, you have a volumetric measurement. Allah says in the Quran, وَيْلٌ لِلْمُطَفِّفِينَ, woe to the mutaffif. What's mutaffif? الَّذِينَ إِذَا اكْتَالُوا عَلَى النَّاسِ يَسْتَوْفُونَ. Those who, when they do iktal, when they sell things or when they purchase things via measure through kale. In Arabic, kale is where you measure something like a measurement of volume, like you would say, this is a 1 cup. So وَإِذَا اكْتَالُوا عَلَى النَّاسِ يَسْتَوْفُونَ. So when they go to buy on the market and they get their kale, they make sure they get the full amount. وَإِذَا كَالُوهُمْ أَوْ وَزَنُوهُمْ يُخْسِرُونَ. But if they themselves are the ones who are selling items and they are doing their kale, or وَزَنُوهُمْ, or selling by weight, maybe they're selling dates by the kilo. When they do this or that, يُخْسِرُونَ, they give a little bit less. أَلَا يَظُنُّ أُولَٰئِكَ أَنَّهُمْ مَبْعُوثُونَ. Do they not believe, those people who do these things, these mutaffifun, who do these things, don't they believe that they will not be resurrected? لِيَوْمٍ عَظِيمٍ, to a great day. يَوْمَ يَقُومُ النَّاسُ لِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ, to a day where mankind will stand to the Lord of the worlds. And also we have, for example, Allah mentioned in the Quran, تَعْرُجُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَالرُّوحُ إِلَيْهِ فِي يَوْمٍ كَانَ مِقْدَارُهُ 50,000 سَنَةً. As in the angels and the ruh and the spirit, as for instance Jibreel, ascend to the heavens, the measure of the distance of this 50,000 سنة, which is interesting. The measurement here, as often in those times, was measured using time. I.e., if you were to travel from here to here, how long would it take you to get there? That was the measurement. So just like this day, they might say it takes you 10 minutes down the road. They'll say 10 minutes down the road if you're driving at normal speed of your car. Or it might say, oh, it's about a 2-hour drive from here to Manchester, whatever. So you can measure things in distance by how long it takes to get there. And then we have another measurement. Allah mentioned in the Quran, وَشَرُوهُ بِثَمَنِ بَخْسٍ دَرَاهِمَ مَعْدُودَةٍ. And they sold him بِثَمَنِ بَخْسٍ, with a low amount. وَشَرَوهُ بِثَمَنِ بَخْسٍ دَرَاهِمَ مَعْدُودَةٍ, for a small amount, some few darahim, a few dirham. Dirham is silver coins. A few dirham. So they was talking about they sold what they sold Yusuf for, alayhi salam. And Allah said, وَكَانُوا فِيهِ مِنَ الزَّاهِدِينَ. And they were happy with a little, with the value of Yusuf. So Allah is talking about how much they valued the great Nabi, Yusuf. It was just darahima ma'duda. It wasn't a significant amount. But on all these ayats of time and measurement and whatnot, and even money, we see here it is a unit of measure. So we see here that Allah has defined all things and quantified everything in this dunya, and has made this an intricate part of our creation and of our own fitrah. by our own nafs, we understand that everything has due measure and everything can be measured through something else. And this is where I get the idea of fairness even. Fairness, this is equal to that, that is a fair measure. So Allah mentioned in the Quran, وَأَحْصَى كُلَّ شَيْءٍ عَدَدًا, and He encompasses all things عَدَدًا, by number specifically. So the whole creation has been built and surrounded by a specific unique amount. Also Allah says in the Quran, إِنَّا كُلَّ شَيْءٍ خَلَقْنَاهُ بِقَدَرٍ. Verily, every single thing we created it with qadar. Now you can you can use that word qadar in two ways. You can understand qadar as in a pre-decree, as in it was predetermined before creation. And also in terms of you can understand that in terms of by an exact portion. Both of them are the same. I mean, it's basically looking at the 20 pound this way or this way. Pre-decree or a specific measure are both one and the same thing. It's just looking at it from a different perspective. So our very existence is revolving around everything having an exact specific measure. We are hard-coded to understand this and to accept this in our daily lives. And you can almost say that at Islam's very core, everything is about trade, fair trade and exchange. Think about it. Everything that Islam orders us to do, encourages us to do, at its very core, it's an exchange. Even the rights your parents have over you is an exchange. They gave you life. They looked after you. The very least is you can repay that. We have balance. You can look at in terms of anything really, even in terms of your salah. You pray to Allah to get reward. There's an exchange there. Hence why if you go to an arraf, if you go to a person, a soothsayer, your salah is not accepted for 40 days. Not saying if you believe the soothsayer, if you just go to the soothsayer and you ask him a question, your salah isn't accepted for 40 days. Meaning, you have to perform the salah, but there's no payment, there's no exchange, there's nothing of value going to be marked down on your record. Even the record, Yawm al-Qiyamah, our deeds will be weighed on the scales. So on every element of our lives, we understand fundamentally that there has to be, and there is, a fair exchange for everything. If someone works for me from 9 to 5, he puts in effort from this amount of time, that time has a monetary value. Maybe not monetary value, maybe I can value that time of work to how much grains of white rice or whatnot. Everything has a due measure. And if you look at every aspect of your life, you will see the same thing. So, if that's been said, we can now understand why Allah, one of the wisdoms why Allah said, وَأَحَلَّ اللَّهُ الْبَيْعَ وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَى. And Allah has made halal the transaction, the trade, وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَى, and has made riba not allowed, made haram. When you do bay', when you do transaction, you are doing a trade. Every person is trying to get a fair amount on both sides. So it's not a zero-sum game. Everyone is benefiting and gaining. I exchange my money for my goods. So he's giving me something, I'm giving him something. We both get what we both like, we're both happy with. And inshallah, we grow together. Islam encourages us to make money, exchange money, and grow together as a society, as individuals and a society. Whereas riba, I am growing without offering anything back. I mean, there is money there, but fundamentally that money has to come back. There's no intelligence, there's no skills involved, there's no risk involved. It's just giving money out and earning. So Islam is at the very core again, encourages that every avenue that we all work together to do a fair trade, to do a fair deal, whereas interest is not a fair deal. So I want to conclude this very short reminder and ask you a question. How would you feel if there was a group of people, a small group of people in some office somewhere who got together and decided every month or every year how long a second is? So maybe this year a second is this long and next year a second is longer or shorter. Meaning that Next year, maybe you have to work longer hours for the same amount of pay because they've decided that the second now is longer or shorter. How would you feel if every year this small group of people to get together and decide how long a ruler is, how long a meter is, I should say. So on the deeds to your land, it says you own 10 by 10 meters of land. But next year, because they've changed the length of a meter, in reality, your land is either grown or shrunk because of someone else's decision. How would you feel if every year they changed the measurement of kilograms? How heavy something is or isn't. So 1 kilogram this year is actually in reality heavier or lighter than next year because they've decided to change the kilogram. How would you feel? Same thing with volume. How would we feel if every year someone else outside of us are actually deciding and determining how these units are to be measured, which in turn affects you? So why is it that we accept that every year they decide how much this is worth? They either inflate or deflate the economy based on their own decisions. Why do we allow that? Anyway, something to think about. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.